1929. Two women from royal dynasties, bound not only by family ties but also by friendship, embark on a venture that high society once called marital politics, and today we might call a gamble. In their eyes, it was a harmless plan to unite the fates of young heirs, secure a dazzling future for their children, and strengthen dynastic bonds. But what began as a grand social scheme soon spiraled into one of the most sensational and painful stories to ripple through Europe's royal courts. A dusty, long-forgotten case uncovered in German archives became the spark that shattered the lives of two young people, unprepared for the intrigues of court or the weight of family obligations. Their once promising futures became pawns in a game of ambition, their story a stark reminder of how fragile dreams can shatter against the harsh realities of dynastic politics. That summer, Queen Marie of Romania received a gift, a book of memoirs from her old friend, Countess Daisy von Pless. Years had passed since they last met, first the war, then the redrawn, unforgiving map of Europe had pulled them apart. Yet shared memories, secrets, and countless letters kept their bond alive through the storm. As Marie leafed through the pages, her gaze lingered on photographs of Daisy's sons. Three young men, handsome and full of promise, seemed to embody the freshness and hope so rare in those times. Noting their striking looks, Marie closed the book and penned a warm thank you letter to her friend. Tucked inside the envelope were a few photos of her own children, including a portrait of her youngest daughter, 20-year-old Princess Ileana. A gentle girl with deep blue eyes, the child of my heart, naturally brilliant, Marie wrote of her favorite. She always knows right from wrong, yet she's never dull. Countess Daisy didn't need to guess the subtext, she read such hints better than anyone. When an invitation soon arrived to celebrate the Romanian princess's birthday, Daisy accepted without hesitation, her mind already buzzing with anticipation. Here was her chance to introduce her royal friend to her son, the middle of her three boys, whom she deemed the worthiest match for young Ileana. 24-year-old Count Alexander von Hochberg, Baron zu Fürstenstein, known to his family as Lexel, had planned to spend the summer in Bavaria. But just as he was about to leave, an urgent telegram from his mother changed everything. Without a moment's pause, he rerouted, not to the Alpine resorts, but to a palace in far-off Romania to meet the royal family. Tall, fair-haired, with piercing blue eyes and dressed in an impeccable white suit, Lexel was the living picture of aristocratic perfection. For Princess Ileana, meeting him was a shock. She fell in love instantly, wholly, as if her entire life had been leading to that moment. She may not have noticed, caught in her own enchantment, that she, young, radiant, adorned in gold, silver, and the snowy whites of the Cotroceni Palace ball, was just as breathtaking. Lexel, seeing her in the glow of the grand hall, was equally captivated. An immediate, fragile spark of mutual attraction flared between them, the kind that easily blazes into passion when circumstances align. From that evening, they seized every chance to be near each other. Lexel stayed on as a guest at the palace, joining in festivities and accompanying Ileana's young nephew, King Michael, on leisurely car rides. Slowly, he became part of the family's daily life. Their relationship bloomed swiftly, as if the young couple believed time was on their side. A secret engagement soon followed. They dreamed of their future, even choosing a home where they'd live after the wedding. Queen Marie, watching her daughter and Lexel, was delighted. To her, this union seemed nearly perfect. A wealthy German count, raised with English refinement, was the ideal son-in-law. But their secret couldn't stay hidden for long. Their youthful love shone too brightly to escape prying eyes. And perhaps, had it remained in the shadows, they might have been spared the trials to come. One afternoon, Ileana accompanied Lexel to a ceremony where a university student association was awarding him a gold medal for his skiing achievements. The event was lively and heartfelt, and in a rush of emotion, Ileana stepped forward to address the crowd. Her aide, Colonel Manolescu, tried to stop her, but it was too late. Overflowing with feeling, she declared, "I love the Count and will marry him. Marriages for love are the happiest marriages." The room gasped. To nearly everyone present, this was a complete surprise. The news spread like wildfire, catching not only the Romanian public off guard but the government as well. Legally, there were no barriers to the marriage. Ileana was of age, independently wealthy, and her position at court carried no strict obligations as an heir. But the political reality was far more complicated. The Romanian people adored their princess, seeing her as honest, approachable, and warm, their own. So her choice of a mere count disappointed many. Her two elder sisters had married into European crowns, yet the youngest would settle for a countess's title. The press seized on the public's discontent, first politely, then sharply, launching a campaign against Lexel. They scrutinized his minor status in his family, his lack of inheritance prospects, and began digging into his past, chasing shadows and stirring rumors. Yet the young lovers seemed oblivious to the mounting pressure. Lexel lingered in Bucharest, growing closer to the royal family and preparing for the wedding. The date was set. On February 1, 1930, Lexel's 25th birthday, they would announce their official engagement, with the ceremony planned for February 19. Their plans felt solid, unshakable. But in those very weeks, fate was weaving a test that would change everything. At first, Bucharest tried to ignore Ileana's bold declaration. The country was consumed with weightier international matters, and the government's focus remained on foreign affairs. But once those issues eased, attention turned to the princess's personal life. Constantin Hyatt, the court-martial and a veteran of dynastic scandals, reacted with open outrage. He declared that if this reckless engagement went forward, he would resign. It was a clear warning to the royal court. The blame fell on Colonel Manolescu, Ileana's aide, whose failure to curb her impulsive speech was deemed unforgivable. He was dismissed, a sacrificial pawn to maintain the appearance of order. Public discontent grew into a wave. Newspapers fueled accusations, rumors, and speculation, and the pressure became impossible to ignore. Prime Minister Ileana stepped in, urging Queen Marie to hold off on any formal steps until the government could vet Count von Hochberg's background and connections. Then came the first troubling reports from Berlin. Details about Alexander's family and past fed into Romania's growing doubts and fears. The atmosphere thickened rapidly. What had once seemed a bright fairy tale of love was now sliding into a political and personal crisis. A storm loomed over the two young lovers, threatening to crush their dreams of happiness. The revelations from the German archives stunned both the Romanian court and public opinion. Documents, which in another context might have remained forgotten history, gained devastating weight in light of the proposed marriage. They revealed that Lexel's father, Hans Heinrich XV von Pless, had once been part of Kaiser Wilhelm II's so-called effeminate circle, a group of young courtiers whose role, according to gossip, was to please the emperor's eye. This alone tarnished the family's reputation. But the real blow came from details about Alexander himself. Testimony from his elder brother suggested that, in his youth, while raised under a tutor's care at the family's Fürstenstein castle, Lexel had grown too close to local boys from Pölsnitz, including workers like a waiter and a butcher. Particular scrutiny fell on his connection with the butcher, an older man. According to the documents, this relationship led to a criminal case against the young count for violating German laws on unnatural relations. A first court sentenced him to 2 months in prison. He appealed, but before the case could be revisited, the main witness, the butcher, took his own life in jail. A prominent Berlin lawyer and a hired psychologist managed to soften the ruling and partially overturn it, but Lexel's reputation was beyond repair. The German press pounced on the scandal, making it public fodder. When this news reached Bucharest, Prime Minister Ileana accepted it as fact. The government unanimously agreed, such a marriage was unthinkable. Official approval for Princess Ileana to wed Count von Hochberg was firmly denied. Even Queen Marie, who had championed her daughter's happiness and saw Lexel as a fine match, could no longer defend the union. A leak from the palace ensured the reasons for the sudden break were widely known, and silence could no longer shield them. In despair, Countess Daisy wrote to the Queen, almost pleading, "Dear Queen, I beg you, don't take what was merely a youthful indiscretion so seriously." But Marie knew that her friend's son's adventures were no trifle. Even if she wanted to overlook them, political realities and public sentiment tied her hands. The story's end was devoid of romance, steeped in drama. Accompanied only by the chief of police, Lexel and Princess Ileana arrived at Bucharest's train station. Their farewell was brief and cold, no embraces, no promises, just a few words before the Count boarded the Orient Express bound for Vienna. The official explanation was curt. The Romanian government announced that Princess Ileana had voluntarily ended the engagement and would travel to Egypt with her mother on the royal yacht. To the world, the matter was closed. The sharp-tongued press soon moved on to fresher stories, dropping claims that one of Lexel's young acquaintances had taken his life out of jealousy over the engagement. But the shadow of the scandal lingered, etched into the lives of those involved and the public's memory. Yet Ileana refused to surrender. When the royal yacht reached Constantinople, she made her defiance clear. "I still intend to marry Alexander." Around the same time, journalists tracked Lexel down in southern France. Despite the scandal and pressure, he spoke firmly, "We love each other. I have nothing to be ashamed of. My fiancée knows me well enough to trust me. We will marry in Bucharest on April 27th. His words were brave, almost heroic, but the odds were stacked against them. For 20 days, Romania's foreign ministry waged intense negotiations and backroom efforts to ensure the marriage could never happen. Finally, an official statement declared that Count Alexander von Hochberg, Baron zu Fürstenstein, had agreed to end his engagement to Her Royal Highness Princess Ileana of Romania. The Bucharest press framed it as though Queen Marie, yielding to pressure, had persuaded her daughter to abandon the match. But keen observers noticed something more telling. As the yacht Mayflower left Aswan, a diamond ring from Lexel still gleamed on Ileana's finger. Time dulled the pain, giving way to inevitability. In 1931, Ileana married Archduke Anton of Austria, a union approved by her brother, King Carol II, who saw his popular sister as a rival and preferred her out of the country. Later, after enduring wars, exile, and personal losses, Princess Ileana took monastic vows and founded an Orthodox monastery in America. Lexel never recovered from the ordeal. Until his dying day, he insisted his elder brother Hansel was the source of the damning information. "He'd rather die than let me become Royal Highness and tie our family to Europe's royal houses." And surrendered one of the 20th century's most beautiful and tragic love stories. A tale where personal happiness was sacrificed to politics, prejudice, and cold calculation. Princess Ileana and Count Alexander wanted only to be happy together, but their marriage remained an unfulfilled dream. One question lingers. What if they had dared to defy everyone? Could love have rewritten their fates, or would society and power have crushed the union regardless? Share your thoughts in the comments. Could this story have ended differently? If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories of the secrets and dramas of Europe's dynasties.